Welcome back to the Association 100. I'm Colin Gallagher, broadcasting live here from ASAE, and I'm thrilled to have Elisa Pratt, CEO and Chief Strategist of Brewer Pratt Solutions today.
Yes,
Thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a great energy here.
Right? What a show this
year.
year.
An awesome experience, and that time where you remember how important it is to be in person.
It's so nice to be back in person.
Be in person.
Like this.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I see boards now, everybody's back in person, and we had to do a stretch of strategic planning that was all virtual.
Oh, wow.
So getting back in person, embracing that energy and that momentum, it's I think it's official. We're all back.
Yeah.
We're back. Associations are back, boards are back, leadership is back, and it's a good time to be here. So.
It feels good. It's exciting.
It does.
Well, tell me, so I know you like to talk about strategic agility
Yes.
and fouling faster. So what does that mean and how do you embrace it?
Sure. Well, I think more than ever before, we've realized you have to adjust. The word pivot, we're not allowed to use the word pivot anymore.
No more
officially
pivoting.
say no more pivoting.
Amen.
Because what I learned, if you keep pivoting, you just go in a circle.
That's a great analogy because people overuse that word so much now.
So no more pivoting, but agility is something different. It allows you to respond quickly to your circumstances, your changing marketplace, your member needs. And to me, it also conveys a willingness to fail.
Yes.
And we heard about it from the opening speaker yesterday. Fail fast, learn and fail fast. And I promote that to all of my clients because it's about giving yourself permission to experiment, to pilot, to test ideas,
Right.
and not overly marry yourself to something. I was working with a teachers organization, and they reminded me that pencils have an eraser on top for a reason.
That's great.
It's okay.
Love that coming from the teachers organization.
Right?
That's awesome.
So progress over perfection, all those cliches, but what it really comes down to is giving yourself, your staff, permission to try.
How do you create that culture that allows that, though?
I think you have to be vulnerable. As a leader, you have to be transparent and vulnerable and admit when you don't know, admit when you have failed. You have to be non-punitive. You have to address failures in a way that are open-minded, that focus on the learning and not the failure.
Yep.
And it's something really as a leader you have to demonstrate through example.
Yeah. I love the part about the leader being willing to admit that too. We did a podcast earlier in the year and the executive was saying, when he first became that role, he thought he was supposed to know everything. And he realized it's okay to let your team know, I don't know all the answers.
Yeah.
You guys need to help come up with some of these answers. So it's really important.
That humility, that open-mindedness. And I'm the first to self-deprecate. That's maybe one of my main leadership strategies is to demonstrate that vulnerability, that humility, and make fun of yourself when it works. Admit when you've screwed up, because that's what we learn from the most. No one wants a story of a perfect, easy.
It doesn't help anyone. You can't relate.
Right. I learned nothing from that. No novel, no movie has ever been about someone with a perfect, linear, happy life. That doesn't get anyone anywhere.
Yeah.
So we've all gone through this in a different way over the last 3 years, and organizationally, how we reacted, in 2020, and those emergency reactions and steps we had to put in place. That's not necessarily what we need to be doing in 2023. Most of my strategic planning clients are setting a new course. 2020 and 2021 was about survival. Yeah. Now this is about evolution.
How do we go forward?
And coming out of what do we keep? What have we learned? Where can we hybrid? What do we keep? What do we let go?
Right.
Strategic abandonment is just as important as strategic planning. And I think
I love that line. I haven't heard that before. I really like that.
And agility isn't just about what you're doing. It's about what you decide not to do or where you decide not to go.
Yeah.
It's a mental, I think it's a state of mind.
Yeah, for sure. So you mentioned having all these strategic planning sessions as of late.
Yes.
Strategic planning can get some mixed reviews, for sure.
It does. I know it gets a bad rap. I didn't like it when I was a staff person either. I tell people I have many strategic planning scars. And that's really how I built my business. I wanted to be the consultant that I wish I had had. That's my mission statement.
I love
is
that.
to be who I wish I had in those circumstances. So I believe that strategic planning can and should be fun
Yep.
for your boards. I think that staff should be intimately involved in the process,
Yes.
not kept at arm's distance or off to the side.
Because then you ask them to buy into something that they didn't get to be a part of
Yeah.
deciding on.
Yep. And I'm extremely committed to an implementation planning phase
Yeah.
where
Oh,
we
yes.
define for the board what their jurisdiction is and what the staff jurisdiction is. And then as staff, we dive in and we focus on the how.
Yeah.
Boards get to figure out the why
Yes.
and the what. Staff are going to determine the how, the when, the who, the how much.
Oh yeah.
And I think those distinctions are important to go into, but then really commit yourself to that almost project management
Right.
of the strategic plan, because the plan in itself is not an outcome.
No. You're not like, okay, we're done.
Yeah, yeah.
This is just the start.
So I've really come to love strategic planning in the way that I've built it. My boards have fun. My staff know that I'm on their side,
Yep.
and that
That's
I'm not.
huge. Yeah.
I'm not going to parachute into a retreat. Let the board have these wild, crazy ideas and then
Good luck.
disappear. Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's we've all had that experience. So
Yes.
that's how I build. That's my compass.
I love that. And it's so funny because Onward and Upward is very similar. Megan Henning, my co-founder, and I, we worked in association communications for years and years and years. And the same thing, we wanted to be what we had hoped for in consultants that we hired.
Exactly.
Helping with the earned media and the marketing efforts and things like that. So, when you're on the inside, you know what you need.
Right. And I think coming, as the outside voice, sometimes as a consultant, you're brought in to be a third-party authority
Yes.
to back up
Validate
or to
something,
say
yeah.
what needs to be said that maybe someone internally doesn't have the
Oh, yeah.
political capital for. And so, people bring me in to say what needs to be said.
Yeah.
And I find, authenticity is my core value.
That's great.
And no one comes to me and asks if they look good in that outfit and without wanting to be told the truth.
Real answer.
Without
I
wanting
love
to be
it.
told the truth. So
That's great.
I take pride in that. And I think between agility and failing, it takes that level of honesty.
Yep.
Because we don't know all the answers.
No.
We don't know all the answers.
If you did, it'd be boring.
And I wouldn't want your board to think that you do or that the consultant will. If there were silver bullets to all of these association challenges, we wouldn't need all this.
Right.
We wouldn't need all this.
Yep.
I love what I do, and I've learned a lot from my staff experience, but seeing organizations succeed after they've learned and failed and recognize that consistent improvement depends on ongoing failure.
Yep.
And not resting on those previous successes.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, any last advice for associations that are thinking about starting that strategic planning session this year?
Don't be afraid. If you've had a terrible experience before, don't put it off. It doesn't have to be that way. Find the right consultants, find the right staff lead, and design the process that you need for your organization. It's not a prescription.
Yes.
It can be what you need it to be. Let your board know this is a special opportunity, and with the right voices involved and a diversity of thought and a willingness to fail and to pilot and to experiment, you can do amazing things that you may not even expect.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank
I know
you.
our viewers will love this. So we appreciate you joining us on the A100 today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.